to Computer Science, the podcast where we connect ambitious and driven girls to successful women in the STEM fields. So today, we have a very special guest with us. I'm honored to welcome Sasha Spiegel. Sasha is currently studying computer science at Yale University, and we're so excited to have her here today. So Sasha, thank you so much for being here. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your work and what you're studying at Yale this year?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. So, I'm a third year student at Yale pursuing a joint master's and bachelor's degree in computer science. And currently, I am also taking some statistics classes, not for a minor or a major, but just for my own knowledge. Professionally, I'm interested in quantitative trading, which is the industry where I want to work after graduation.
That's so cool. How did you get started with computer science and quantitative trading? When did you realize, like, yes, this is the field I want to pursue?
So I actually did not do anything coding related and almost nothing math related when I was in high school. And I only first started realizing that I like math as I was applying to college. So my first semester at college, I took an introductory coding course, CS50, which made me realize that I actually really like coding. And ever since then, I've been a diehard CS major.
Oh, wow. So, what were you interested in before?
So, on a personal level, in high school, I was a very artistic kid. I spent a lot of time pursuing digital art, creating comics, and animations. Professionally, I was thinking about going into business, but I was thinking about business as kind of like as the people who don't really know what they want to do, so they choose to do business because it has a little bit of everything. But as I said, like by 12th grade, I found that I was enjoying my math classes. I took BC Calculus, AP Physics C, and I really enjoyed them. And as I was thinking about the field of business, even the field of finance, I realized it was less mathematically rigorous than I wanted my career to be, which is why I started thinking about data science and computer science.
Yeah, so as you said, math it requires a lot of rigor. So, what qualities do you think are important to achieve success in math and the STEM fields in general?
I feel like in general, the qualities you need to succeed in a STEM field aren't that different from the qualities you need in a humanities field because the underlying characteristics are the same, like right, being hardworking, not being afraid to ask for help, having a genuine passion for the subject you're studying. I suppose the only difference is that math in general requires a more analytical brain. People who like math are people whose brain like is wired to work in that way, I suppose. But in general, I believe the qualities to succeed in any field are really similar.
That's for sure. Like you mentioned, hard work is definitely a huge, huge factor. So, with any amount of success one achieves, failure is bound to come. Can you tell us a time where you faced an obstacle or hurdle in your journey and how you overcame that?
In general, as someone who started computer science only in college, I never wrote a line of code when I was in high school. When I was very new, my lack of knowledge was a hurdle to me, and my lack of experience. Honestly, I was kind of surprised that academically my lack of experience didn't hurt me as much as I thought. I thought that, like, well, I'm literally going to Yale. I'm going to be in classes with people who've been writing or creating websites since they were 9 years old. But very soon I realized that in the intro coding courses that I was taking, or rather like the 9-year-olds who are coding websites, like when they go to Yale, they don't take the intro CS courses. So in my intro courses, I did not lack that much experience as compared to my classmates, and therefore just by, right, like working hard, studying, really getting to understand the material, I was able to catch up. Now professionally, like it was different because everyone with all the varying levels of experience are applying to roughly the same jobs. There are a few jobs that are listed specifically like, oh, this is a job for like people who have never coded in high school because all the jobs want the most qualified candidates. And I remember in freshman year, I had to work really hard and like think really hard about how I had to take these scant accomplishments that I had in my first semester of college, traits, and translate them into a professional resume. So, for example, in my first year of college, I was listing the the tests that I got good grades on, like the projects I did in classes as things on my professional resume. And then in job interviews, I had to word all my answers really carefully to mold the limited CS experience that I had into a good interview answer. But luckily, this is a problem that gets solved with experience as I got that first internship. And then as I took more classes and joined more computer science clubs, I got actual CS experience and replaced all these like school projects that I had on my resume with actual professional work experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So what do you think is your favorite club at Yale related to CS that you might be in?
Let's see. Well, I'm currently a teaching assistant for a data structures course, even though this is not a club, this is the main CS related activity that I do. And teaching is really fun. Other than that, I'm not in it right now, but in past semesters, I was a member of the undergraduate aerospace organization, specifically the software team of their CubeSat team. So basically, I was writing the code on a satellite that was projected to launch into space. And that was pretty early on in my CS journey, so I definitely learned a lot about what coding actually looks like on a team or like in a semi-professional environment.
Wow, launching a rocket in space? That's such a fun first project. That's amazing. So, with the busy life that you lead, how do you manage your time between university, your work, and your social life?
Honestly, I was always someone who had really good time management skills, even in high school. So a high workload was never really an issue to me. And the main strategies that I use are generally the strategies, just general strategies for time management. I keep track of all my tasks in a very regulated a Notion to-do list. I do not procrastinate at all. Like if a task needs to be done, I get to it. And maybe if I have an hour-long break between classes, I spend that break doing my homework because I'm about to make an hour-long progress on my homework. I'm also able to compartmentalize the energy that I put into different facets of my life. So for example, when I am off like hanging out with my friends or doing my extracurriculars that are non-CS related, I don't think about my homework. Right? Like right now, it's time to relax, to spend time with my friends. And simultaneously, when I am doing my homework, I stop thinking about my friends, my extracurriculars, I turn off my phone notifications, and not trying to multitask in that way, not trying to hang out with my friends while trying to solve this math problem on my homework. That allows me to do better in both. So, and to put 100% of my energy into whatever task I'm doing at the moment.
I definitely agree with you. When you multitask, things can get really intertwined and complicated and just messed up. So it's better to focus on one thing at a time. So, next, could you tell us about some of the internships you've had throughout early high school and college?
So in high school, I had one internship experience. It was a shadow experience at a venture capital firm, but that's not really relevant to my CS career. So really all my real CS experiences happened when I was in college. I managed to get a summer internship my freshman year at a software firm where I interned again last summer. And last winter and this summer for 1 week at the end, I did mini internships at quantitative trading firms. The main takeaway I had from these experiences is that the more professional experience you get, the easier it will be to get more jobs and more professional experiences. The most glaring example of this is that after I got my internship at my first trading firm, and I put that trading firm on my resume, I started getting a lot more interview requests from other trading firms after sending them that resume. So every accomplishment really builds on all the previous accomplishments you had, especially in the professional world.
Yeah, for sure. Next, could you tell us a little bit about being a teaching assistant at Harvard CS50 course? What did that entail for you?
Of course. So CS50 is honestly pretty famous, if you're into online coding courses, but it's a famous coding course that Harvard offers, which is also offered free online. And the reason why I am a Yale student who TA'd for a Harvard course is because this course is also offered at Yale. So we watch the Harvard lectures that are recorded, but then Yale also provides their own teaching staff, their own professors, their own activities at Yale. So that's how I was officially a Yale teaching assistant for a Harvard course. And so what's similar between being a teaching assistant for this course and other courses is that, I hold office hours, right? You're a CSTA, you hold office hours. But one major difference between this and almost every other course for teaching assistants is that in CS50, all the TAs hold sections. Meaning every week for 2 hours, I stand in front of in a classroom in front of 20 kids or 20 fellow college students, and I teach them we go over these CS concepts that they just learned in lecture. And I'm also responsible for, grading their work and for guiding them on their CS journey. So when I'm in the classroom, me, my co-TA, and all these 20 students, I and my co-TA are the highest figures of authority. And this is a very interesting experience because it's almost the experience that a professor gets when standing in front of a class. You are the one teaching the material.
How exciting! So, one's formative years, when used wisely, can truly be definitive. What's an opportunity in your high school that you'd leverage to become who you are today?
If in high school, I know what I do now, which is that I love coding. Then, like ninth grade me, what was it, like 14-year-old me would say, well, I want to prepare myself for college, and then I would start taking coding classes and competing in like math and computer science olympiads and trying to figure out how to get into MIT. But in high school, I did none of that. Again, I was artistic. I drew a lot. I created 2 5-minute animations, which I then submitted to various animation contests and which won various awards. As someone whose main hobby is drawing, having awards is kind of like a outside confirmation that your art is great. And I feel like that really helped me on my college applications, which, and honestly, probably the awards that I won for my various art, animation, and comics are a factor in what got me into Yale. And kind of ironically, with this sequence of events, being really good at art and pursuing various art and animation opportunities is what led me to become a computer science major at Yale. And I suppose the moral of the story is that chasing a goal can often be nonlinear. And that's what's my general life advice that I tell myself after this experience, is that to succeed on a broad scale, I think people should just find what genuinely interests them and pursue that and get really good at it. And then success will follow, even if the hobby that you're pursuing is seemingly unconnected to your professional goals.
No, for sure. I love how you started with art and then connected that all the way to CS. That's so interesting. So, what's an experience from your early career that has defined you?
So imagine me, right? I got into Yale. I am a pre-frosh, meaning that I'm a freshman who hasn't started school yet. It's the summer. I'm sitting at home and I'm deciding what classes I want to take. I decided I want to take a computer science class, and the main introductory computer science class that is offered in the fall is CS50. So I am reading the course reviews for it, and people in the course reviews are saying that the course is really hard and the workload rating is really high. So for a while there, I was debating on whether I wanted to take CS50 because it's my first semester in college. It's literally Yale, so like the course difficulty must be really hard, and people at Yale are saying that this course is a high workload. I was not sure if, like, what if I take this course and then I'm bad at it, and then me like spending like tens of hours on P-sets is what defines my college experience in my first semester of college. But in the end, I decided to take the course after all, even though I was afraid that it might be like too difficult or too intense for me. And in the end, the course, like, I won't say it was easy. Like, I definitely get what the reviews were saying, but it wasn't bad at all. Like, I did the work, I got excellent grades, I got a really high score on the end of term test, and like I returned the following year to TA for it. And CS50 was a really formative class in my early career because that is the entire reason why I am a CS major now. That is the class that introduced me to coding. So if, when I was debating whether to take that class as a pre-frosh, if I had decided, you know what, this class seems to be a little bit too hard for me, I'm going to take something easy, I'm just going to stick to data science instead of trying to learn CS. Like, if I had made that decision, potentially I would not be on the path I am today. I would not have been able to, like, even if I discovered that I liked CS later than I did, I would not have had time to take as many credits as I needed to graduate with a master's degree in computer science. So the big lesson that I take out from there is that if I had rid myself of an opportunity because of my own self-doubt, then I would have just hurt myself in the long run. And in general, I've had some other miscellaneous experiences after that when also I thought a course was hard or like I was unqualified for a position, but then I did it anyway and I did great. And I tell myself to never reject an opportunity because of self-doubt.
Yeah, that's an amazing philosophy to live by. I'm so glad you took CS50 and then started computer science. So, what advice would you have for aspiring girls in the STEM fields?
There are there's a lots of advice that can be given about like STEM in general, like navigating STEM. But one thing that comes to mind is just to be audacious and to take risks. So, right, like take that CS course that you think you're unqualified for, raise your hand in class even if you're not 100% sure your answer is correct. Like, go to office hours and ask for help. Argue with the student that's confidently saying the wrong information that you know is wrong. Like, apply for jobs where you don't reach all the qualifications. Just in general, be bold, take risks, and don't leave any space for self-doubt in your mind.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Sasha, for showing us your authentic self and giving us such lovely tips and anecdotes. It was so fun having you on Computer Science today.